Hey there, boys and girls. It's Fog. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm sitting here by the witch farm, and I've been doing a lot of hanging out by the witch farm because I've been needing lots more redstone as I've been building the nether tunnels and other projects. Glowstone's always a good thing to have as well. And there's a couple of things that I noticed. In recent builds, every now and then, this thing just will stop spawning witches. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. For one thing, I think there's probably some areas below that I have not completely lit up. So there might be a spot where some mobs are getting stuck down there. I think it's more common for things to spawn in the witch farm, but it's possible they may spawn elsewhere. And I wonder if maybe the despawning has been affected, like particularly for things like, say, slimes, and they might be affecting the overall spawn cap. So that's one issue. There may also be stuff in the game to detect when you're going AFK. That's possible. Although I kind of doubt it. But it's possible. But anyway, I was thinking that it might be kind of fun to do a project here. And I'll tell you what I have in mind in a minute. But first, I got to do something with these. These are starting to fill up, some of them, because I only take things out of some of these. And so I was thinking it might be kind of nice to double our capacity here. So I think that's going to be my first project, is to expand this to double its capacity. And the way I'm going to do that, here, I'll do one of them and I'll show you. I'm going to put chests down below, right underneath here, right? Right under there. We'll put some chests down underneath there. And put some hoppers pointing into them from the back, right here, so that these guys will drain down into the lower chests, and then when the lower chests fill up, they'll drain back up into the top ones. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I think I'm going to get started with that right now. And I'm going to need to open this up a little bit so that I can get in there. I'm going to want to go down one extra level here. For one thing, I need to be able to get under. And for another, I want to replace this with just regular stone, so that it looks kind of nice. So I'm going to get this guy out and put smooth stone in there in its place. So I'll get started with that, and then we'll talk in a minute. Alright, so here's the way this is going to work. We're going to put a trap chest here, like this, with a hopper leading into it, like that. And that'll all start draining down into there. And then we'll backfill this, and we'll put a regular chest here, with a hopper leading into it, and we'll just keep doing that. That I had not anticipated. These guys are going to stop draining because of these guys. Hadn't thought of that, did I? Okay, well, drat. I have to rethink that a little bit. These guys have to get put out one more. We'll just have to do it like this. That'll be fine. Right. Okay, well that gives us a little bit more room. Not a lot, but a little. And we can expand that out one more, which I think we will probably do right now. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to switch to my Silk Touch pick, so we can pull this out with Silk Touch, just like this, because I may want that. And then we'll come back and put our chests in. Regular chest, trapped, regular, trapped, regular. Whoops, not there, not there. That's trapped. Regular. And trapped. Good. That'll work. I'd have rather had it be smooth back there, but I'll live with it. I'm okay with this. And that'll all fill in over time, and we'll be fine. Works for me. Now let's shut this rain up. Yes, I know I can turn particle effects off if I want to, but I don't want to. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to do, now that I've done that, is I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a rail tunnel system. And it's going to go down below, and it's going to go around the perimeter and come back, and it's going to be a reasonable distance away so that most of the things outside of this area right here will despawn just as a matter of course as the rail moves around. And I'm going to do something kind of fancy with it too. But I'll show you that when I get there. So I guess it's time for me to start digging. See you in a bit. Hey there, we're back. We're back. And I'm going to show you what I got going here. I got a tunnel all the way down there, and it goes out almost to the edge of this area that I've lit up here around there, and it goes around pretty much the whole perimeter. And so we're going to run a rail all the way around the whole thing. This is actually a bit bigger than it needs to be. I could have just gone down all the way to that edge and then come all the way back to that edge and not gone around the whole perimeter. But I have plans for it, and I kind of thought it would be more fun if it went around the whole thing. So I'm gonna show you how that's going to go in just a minute. But first, what I need to do is I need to lay rail all the way down here, and it needs to be powered rail. And so I'm going to go ahead and lay rail down and around the whole thing, and then we'll be back and we'll talk some more. So talk to you in a little bit. All right, I'm back. I've built the rail line. Let's take a ride. I'll show you how this looks at the moment. So at the moment, it's just going to do a nice big loop, nice clockwise loop, or pretty much around the entire perimeter of the lit up area. This gets us, I don't know, we're about 100 blocks from the witch farm right now. So we're about 100 blocks away. So anything that could spawn in the witch farm will not despawn because we are close enough to it that it's not outside of spawning range. So we're within 128 blocks. That's the important thing. But this goes around the entire perimeter, which means that any mobs that were spawned in some dark nook or cranny that I missed inside of the spawning area will despawn as I roll around here, because we get far enough away that they have to despawn. That, of course, is the general idea, is to give us a way to go all the way around the witch farm far enough away, quickly enough that anything that is not inside the witch farm will despawn by the time we get back to the witch farm. That's the idea anyway. So we can set it up so that we make this circuit every so often, and that should keep the witch farm running at optimal capacity. So as we come back in this last leg here, there's a detector rail right near that junction that causes the junction to switch. You'll see it right here. Yep. And that brings us right back up to our exit and sends us back to the witch farm. So we do a complete loop, and then we come all the way back into the witch farm. And as you can see, the witch farm is humming along nicely at the moment, because anything that we might have missed has despawned. Lots of witches. So this should fill up pretty quickly. Now, before we go any farther, I want to do one more little thing to this. And that's where the glowstone comes in. So some of you may remember a while back we built an X-ray machine. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this entire loop of track into one giant X-ray machine. And I'll show you how we do that. So the way we do that is, oops, what did I do? I forgot to fill that in. So what we're going to do So we're going to come back in here and we are going to fill this with glowstone, at least as much as we can right here. This puts glowstone at our head level. And glowstone is a transparent block, and that means that when the cart comes down this track, we are going to roll right through this glowstone. And we won't suffocate because we will be in a transparent block. And I don't think I will put it in the canyons here because that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So let's go ahead and stop that short of the canyon there, huh? Now, whoops, don't want to do that. This should be Silk Touch, and it is. Good, good, good. Like I said, I'm not going to fill up the canyons with this because that wouldn't help us at all. We wouldn't be able to see any better with our head in the canyon. So you may remember we've done this before. We've built X-ray machines with transparent blocks before. This will work with any block that won't cause suffocation damage and that has an opaque texture, but that the game treats as transparent. That includes things like glowstone, which is what I'm using because I have so much of it. The witch farm generates glowstone for me, of course, so I pretty much have an infinite supply of this stuff. It's all a matter of waiting a certain amount of time so that I can get it. But yeah, I have an infinite supply of this. It works with glowstone. It works with, I believe it works with jack-o'-lanterns. It works with TNT, although you probably wouldn't want to use TNT here just on the off chance you accidentally set it off. Anything that won't, oh, pistons, works with pistons. Anything that won't cause suffocation damage. And we will not fill this up with glowstone. That would serve no purpose. So I'm going to finish this and then we'll talk some more. Alright, well I've gone as far as I can go right now because I ran out of glowstone. I kind of figured I wouldn't have enough to do the whole thing, but I did quite a bit of it. So let's take a ride and see what we've got. See what this looks like. I'll finish up the rest of it later. So when we come around the corner, it'll put our head in this glowstone. And now we have a nice X-ray machine that we can just ride all the way around. And as you can see from that zombie floating up there, there are a few areas that I have not lit up well enough. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted to build this track, so that I could find spots like that that I might have missed. So we've explained this before, but let me take a minute and explain to you exactly why an X-ray machine works here in Minecraft. Minecraft, like most modern video games, uses a rendering technique called backface removal. The purpose of backface removal is to improve your frames per second by not rendering polygons that there is no way for you to see in a perfect world. So what it's basically doing is it's not rendering any polygon that doesn't face the camera. So the theory here is that all of the polygons in Minecraft are supposedly solid objects, and as long as the objects are all solid, and as long as there is no way for the camera to get inside one of these solid objects, then the only faces that you should ever need to render are faces that are actually facing the camera. So imagine, if you will, that you're looking at a cube. The only faces of that cube that need to be rendered or drawn are the faces that are facing the camera, because faces that are facing away from the camera are on the back side of the cube and are therefore obscured by the faces on the front side of the cube. So that's what backface removal is all about. Any face that doesn't directly face the camera isn't rendered. Now, most of the time, that works perfectly. Where it fails is if there is some way that you can put the camera inside a polygon. Then it doesn't work. And that's how an X-ray machine works. We're placing our head, which is where the game's camera is located, inside one of the polygons. In this case, we're placing it inside a glowstone block. And by putting it inside the polygon, now there are a whole bunch of faces that are facing away from us that ordinarily should be obscuring our view, but they're not. It's exactly the same reason that you can see through the world with chunk errors, because what happens is when the chunk doesn't load correctly, you're seeing the chunk farther out that has loaded, and you're seeing through it because most of the polygons that are facing you should be obscured by polygons in the chunks that aren't loaded. So the game only is rendering polygons that face towards you, and therefore you can see through the world like this. So anyway, that's how X-ray machines work. Hopefully that explanation made a little bit of sense. And I'm going to go ahead and ride around the rest of this track, and then I'm going to go get some more glowstone and finish it, and we'll talk again later. So I'm down here looking for some of these dark pockets that I've seen riding around in the rail, and I thought I would show you one of the ways that you can build an X-ray machine that's really quick and cheap. You don't even need any pistons. All you do is come right here, dig out a block like this. You got a 3-block high space, stand at the bottom of it, jump and place a fence. So I'm standing in the fence, and the reason this works is because when I jumped, I couldn't jump high enough to jump over the top of the fence. Now I can place glowstone right on top of this fence even though my head is here. And look at that. And there's the dark area I'm going for, right there. See that creeper? He's managed to spawn in there. So we're going to go, and there's another one over there that I need to light up right there and right there. So let's go and get this one. I'll go take on this creeper, and obviously you just tear it down just like that, and you're good, right? Where is this guy? Right in here, right? Yep, there he is. Boom. Now we can go light this up. And now I don't know where that other one was, but it was like over this way. Well, I'm done. I've finished the minecart track, and I'm pretty happy with it. I added a couple of little features up here. One thing I did is I added this tripwire and this detector rail here. So what we have here, oh, and I also increased the number of powered rail on the ramp here. And the reason I did that is so that if there's an empty car stuck down in there, now even empty carts will be able to climb this hill. And the detector rail turns that on, so if the cart's traveling in this direction, an empty cart will get pushed all the way to the end. But in the event that there's already an empty cart there, as you'll see, it'll bounce back, and empty carts won't be able to go through there. But when you're riding the cart, because you're 2 blocks tall, you'll trip the tripwire, and it'll let a ridden cart go through just fine. So let's go ahead and ride it all the way around. I also went through and lit up all the dark areas that I could find. So there may still be a couple of dark areas in there, but if there aren't very many. Pretty hard to find them at this point. I think I got them all. Either way, the witch farm is now running so well and at such efficiency that I actually now have a new problem. And it's a bit of a... it's a real problem. And the problem is that the production of the witch farm is now outpacing the capacity of the item dropper elevator that I have over there. So... oh, hello there, little slime. Yeah, unfortunately, lights won't prevent slime from spawning. Yeah, the witch farm now produces so many items that it's beginning to overwhelm my item elevator. So I may have to rethink that design or somehow boost its capacity. which kind of disappoints me. I don't really want to do that. But I'll give it some thought. Right now, it's not too bad. It does overwhelm it. It does start to back up if you've been here for too long. But for normal operation, it's probably not really a problem. So I'll have to think about it. But anyway, as you can see, the ride is nice and clean all the way around. It's a nice fast ride. You get a lovely view. I'm really happy with the X-ray view here. It's really cool. And here we go, all the way back. For those of you that are wondering, I have not come to a decision about what to do about 1.7. That decision will come in due time. I'm not in a big rush to make that decision. I certainly will not be moving to 1.7 in HFoG's world until it becomes more stable. But for now, I don't really feel that's a decision that has to be ultimately made yet. But anyway, thanks for your input. Do keep the input coming. I am reading all of your posts, and I do appreciate it. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, because it helps people find my videos. And if you want to see more, please subscribe. And I will talk to you all again next time. Bye-bye, guys.